Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Minus the Rumors podcast for May 19th, 2016. I am Ed from Zero Plays Games, joined with my co-hosts, Crimson Rose from Crimson Rose
Hello.
Games,
Hola.
Ziploc Bob from Sequel Syndrome,
Hello.
and
Hey,
Angry
Ziploc
Hippie
Bob.
Lady from Half Heart Gaming.
Hello.
Let's get into the news for this week.
Yes, let's get right into it. All right,
I
so Sega has sold over 350,000 Mega Drive and Genesis games on Steam. So I didn't realize that you could find Sega games on Steam, but apparently on April 28th, this is a feature that went in. They've sold 350,000 in that short a time, in about 3 weeks. It's ridiculous. And personally, and there's not Sega doesn't have a ton of really amazing old games besides, the Sonic games are worth grabbing, but the others are not sure. So it's amazing that they've been able to do this. What do you guys think?
Well, I actually have Golden Axe, so which is part of what was listed in this article. And Golden Axe was a side-scrolling beat-em-up type game in the style of like Conan the Barbarian fantasy stuff. And early Sega games weren't that great because they were basically arcade ports, and that's it. They weren't developed for the console gamer in mind, so they're really hard. But I think this is really awesome that one of the big companies from back in the day that doesn't make consoles anymore, or as one of the big companies from back in the day that does not make consoles anymore, that we're getting the games that we wanted for our nostalgia trip. The only reason why I got Golden Axe is because they gave it away a couple months ago, and I brought that up to you guys through chats. But unfortunately, I did it around April 1st, so you guys probably thought it was an April Fool's joke.
I think this is cool, mainly because, Sega games are on Steam. Steam has the Steam Workshop. So not only are you playing, you have the ability to play the game as it was released, but you have the ability to overlay a mod on top of it with the click of a button and turn that mod off with the click of a button without having to go in and actually ROM hack anything. It's amazing. It's beautiful. I'm stuck on this whole Streets of Rage 2 mod that has the death cry in the game where you die, replaced with Tim Allen's grunt from Home Improvement.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, if you want to go with Streets of Rage mods, I want to go into there's a ROM hack, and it's going to sound awful at first. It's called the Really Really Gay Edition, and basically you're fighting these fabulous drag queens, and it's so colorful. It's beautiful to look at.
But the cool thing about this is having these older companies are able to roll in some money and have an easily accessible game. Whereas if you're one that makes money, I mean, it's not like you have a console, not like you're rolling out new consoles, not like you're making the old console. So this is a nice way that I don't have to go and find the game online, ROM hack it, and do all this stuff. I can just, hey, here's some money. Let me play your game on, the PC, and we're all good. So it's a win-win for both, really. It makes everything easier.
Yeah, it's a
I
good
hope
idea.
more companies, at least the companies that are no longer have their own console games, are going to start doing this because it would be absolutely fantastic. It's a win-win for both parties.
Oh yeah.
But in other news, we have the Dark Souls dev company. They're going to be at E3 holding their own press conference, which that will be on June 13th. So it looks like they may be announcing maybe a new game, maybe a DLC, most likely a DLC for Dark Souls 3, possibly a new IP. We don't really know, but they're going to be there, and they're going to announce something, and I'm excited about them being there because I like these people so much and the kind of stuff they do.
Yeah.
Do you think they might be announcing a new Bloodborne?
That is also possible. So
Oh god.
Bloodborne VR for the
Tease me,
PlayStation whatchamacallit VR thing. PlayStation VR, that's what it's called.
Yeah.
Oh,
So we got the
would be so
VV, the PlayStation VR, and what else at this point?
Oculus.
Let's see. There was an announcement, which again, all this stuff has to be translated, but they'll offer new information on Demon Gaze 2, God Wars Beyond Time, Root Letter, and obviously a bunch of other games. And obviously updates. So it looks like it's going to be one of those like full conferences where like, oh, we're not going to do the Nintendo this year and just like give you one game or one piece of thing. We're going to give you like, here's our entire lineup for the next year. Here's all the things you need to know. So like how it should be done. That's personal preference on that one.
Beautiful. Have we got that one all the way down to the cab yet?
I don't know.
Oh God, it's starting.
Sorry about the corny jokes, guys.
Oh shucks.
Oh my God.
Speaking of corny jokes,
I hate you.
that was
all.
10-10, Crimson.
Oh, I haven't even got started yet.
GG. There's a new game coming this fall all about self-aware corn. The game is called Maze, and it's going to be coming to Steam. And it follows the path of what happens when government scientists misread a company memo and create corn that is living, breathing, and has the ability to move. You play as a stalk of corn with a single ear on it, with a face. And basically, you go around exploring and run into non-player characters that are also sentient, one of which is a grumpy Russian version of the animated teddy bear, Teddy Ruxpin, that some of you might remember or some of you might have seen. You used to put a cassette in his back and push play, and his mouth would move and his eyes would move to these cassette tapes. If you're like me and put in an Ozzy Osbourne cassette tape, he became somewhat of a demon.
Uh-huh.
But the game follows the stylings of like Monty Python meets the X-Files.
And now for something completely different.
But no, the images from this game, they really pop.
Yeah, well, this kind of reminds me of I Am Bread, so can we rename this to I Am Cornbread?
Yes. Yes, we can. I am cornbread.
Yeah. I just hope we have a Linux kernel that can run it.
Yes.
Can you repeat that? I didn't hear you.
Oh God! Well, excuse me, I'm gonna have me some cornflakes now.
Somebody needs to clean their ears.
Cool. All right.
That joke was just complete creamed corn.
We creamed that story. Yeah.
All right. So, in other Dark Souls related news, the board game. We've talked about this for like 3 or 4 weeks straight now. So there was a Kickstarter for the Dark Souls board game. They originally were raising £50,000, which is $70,000 US. They ended up getting 4 million American dollars, which is about 3.7 pounds. And that's
pounds.
yeah. And just so there's 3.7 pounds, 3.7 million. 31,000 backers, which I would think you'd have a lot more. So that's insane. That broke all kinds of records for Kickstarter. I personally donated to this, so I'll be getting my own board game. So what do you guys think about this? By the way, if you did by chance donate and get the package or whatnot, your game is estimated to be delivered in April 2017, so about 11 months. Your guys' thoughts?
Check for mimics.
Check for mimics. Yeah, make sure you punch
that
the box.
once or twice to make sure they did not send you a mimic.
Exactly, and if possible, have one of your worst enemies open the box in case it's a very good mimic. And the second they cut the cellophane off and take the top off, a spike comes out and runs through their face or something like that.
No, that would only work for Saw, the board game. Do you want to play a game?
No. Do you want to build a snowman?
Do you want to build a snowman?
But no, it's amazing. My mind is just blown. Why can the Dark Souls video game not sell like this? I mean, it does sell like this, but 3 minutes. 3 minutes on the Kickstarter and they met their goal.
I think they ended up way over 6,000% paid.
That's ridiculous. That's nuts.
There ended up being like 50 updates to the game. They were constantly about almost every day adding new stretch goals. So now there's all kind of card, scenery pieces, bosses. It's insane the stuff that they added just for stretch goals that they had to think of the top of their head. But with this much money, they have to make the most amazing board game, and then they'll have left over to put into whatever they want to. This is Steam Forge Games Ltd, by the way.
Yeah, they did something special when they had to come up with day after day quickly come up with a 3.2 million pound stretch goal, a 3.4 million pound stretch goal,
right.
A 3.5 million, and they're all getting reached basically the same day they put them up.
Basically,
and it's amazing.
So if you're looking to just sink some money into more board games, there's a This War of Mine board game out right now on Kickstarter.
Ooh.
Yes, throw that in. But in other news, we have so everyone here knows what esports is. It's the new latest thing. It's going to be here forever. So the World Esports Association is going to have an ESL. They're going to have an organization that basically make sure no one's cheating, no one's doping, no one's hacking. So it's basically to keep everything clean, like normal sports. In normal sports, we have like the NCAA. We have all these organizations that make sure no one's cheating or anything, and that's what they're doing for esports now, which they should have done from the get-go, but I'm glad they're doing it, and hopefully they do it well and fairly. But yeah, make sure no one cheats, no one match fixes, no one uses drugs, because in esports there is certain drugs you can take that will help you. And then hacking is obviously a big one. So yeah, this is really good. I'm very happy about this. Your guys' thoughts?
I think this was definitely necessary, especially on the doping side. We covered just a little. I can't remember if we covered or cut actually the story about Corey Friesen. Remember Cloud9, their Counter-Strike team?
Yeah.
He admitted that him and his entire team have been playing on Adderall without a prescription. Go figure. I think it's something. Adderall, for those of you that don't know, is pretty much speed.
Yeah. Adderall is something you get to calm down people who don't have.
Yeah, who don't have a hyperactive or who have attention deficit disorder, ADHD. So people that don't have it, it basically speeds them up. It's bad. It's bad juju. Tears your body up too. But it's it's something that should have been done. It wasn't even a year ago that one of the esports players, I can't even remember his name now because he was kicked from the circuit so fast, admitted that he was aimbotting and wall hacking at the Cologne tournament.
Yeah.
Now, if there were better safeguards in place, it wouldn't have happened. And we would have seen who the real person who puts in the real hours on the real grind would have fared against an even competition.
Right.
You know, there's a lot of things that need to be done for standardization that happens in non-esports. Like, let's take baseball, right? There was an era of time in baseball to where they was having problems with corked bats, which would be comparable to using wall hacking and or aimbotting and wall hacking and all that good stuff. So, there's going to have to be some sort of standardization of equipment, some sort of standardization of software, and something a little bit more nuanced of that than what we've been getting.
Right.
Because, and this is to protect the companies hosting the tournament, the players, because, you know, taking a drug like Adderall can hurt you. And there's actually normal esports injuries from hyperclicking and stuff. You can actually pull the muscles in your forearm and, you know, carpal tunnel and stuff like that, to where if these get, there's been people that retired and they're younger than me at esports because of carpal tunnel and stuff.
Right.
and-
But also,
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say the ESL is going to be they are the biggest esports body right now, and they're going to be in charge of North America, Asia, Europe. So they've got a lot of work ahead of them, but it shouldn't be too bad. I'm excited for this. I think this is a good move, and I think it's a healthy move, and I think it'll actually bolster people's image of it on who are not insiders, like people that are not, you know, that don't think esports is like a sports type thing. It'll make it look, it has good PR. But in other news, we have more Nintendo stuff. You know, my bay. All right, so Pokemon Go beta is expanding to the U.S. You can sign up right now, but not right now. Wait till after the show, and then you can sign up. But you can be a Pokemon Go beta tester right now if you're in the U.S. So be sure to check that out and let us know what you think about it on the Twitter webs.
If you get accepted.
If you get accepted, that is one big part. And then in other news, Witcher 3, Blood and Wine is going to be a new update. New DLC.
Oh, yes. The new DLC for Witcher 3, Blood and Wine, is big.
Yes. So it's going to be launching May 31st.
Mm-hmm.
Zero, if you want to take it away.
Sure, I'll take it away. Blood and Wine, we talked about it a little bit last week, how it's going to be the last DLC for Witcher 3, brought by Project Red. The game's still going to have the regular updates for bug fixes, but yes, Blood and Wine is the last actual DLC for Witcher 3, and it absolutely dwarfs the previous DLC that came out in October, Hearts of Stone, which on PS4 was about 3.5 gigabytes, just under 5 gigabytes on Xbox One. Well, this expansion is 15 gigabytes. 15 gigabytes in size. And there's going to be a patch that goes alongside that.
Right.
So, I mean, it is going to be huge. We still don't know really what's in the DLC, but there's also new music that can be heard if you search around for it. And that was composed by Martin Perziblowicz and has vocals by Laura Doddington.
All right. And to put this in perspective, The Witcher 2, Assassins of Kings Enhanced Edition for the game, not the extras, which is the soundtrack, world map, and documentary, is 16.3 gigabytes.
So this
So
expansion,
this expansion's about the size of the last game.
yeah, they're saying this expansion should add 30 to 40 hours of gameplay. So I mean, it's not all for naught. But mind you, it's the last you're going to get for that game until Project Red comes out with another game, which could be a little while. You know, they might have something they've been cooking on for a little bit, and it's just around the corner, maybe another year or so. So yeah. By the way, Blood and Wine PS4 limited edition comes with Gwent cards. It sells for $30 and it's available at GameStop. So if you want the limited edition Blood and Wine PS4 expansion, go pre-order that at GameStop.
Yay. Not sponsored. Just for clarity's sake. But moving on to tech. I've seen Linux on a PS3, and I know that the Xbox One system runs on a version of Windows. But someone using DOSBox put Windows 95 on their Xbox One. Now, this is going to come with a caveat of, please don't do this, because if you mess it up, you've just lost an Xbox One and going to have to buy another. This is very do not try this at home. But they basically used DOSBox on their virtual console and the Xbox One system to run Windows 95. And it's completely operable like Windows 95. So it's amazing what people will go through just to play Chip's Challenge, apparently, and Ski Free.
It's Ski Free. Yes. Oh my gosh, Ski Free with that freaking Yeti.
The Yeti.
I hate it. I hate it so bad.
I got to where I could get past that guy once. The second time he'd always get me.
This stream is not sponsored by GameStop, by the way, Scion. We just maybe one day, that would be amazing.
But if they want
And
to sponsor
I would
us, by all
leave because
means.
I used to work for them and just know.
Bye, Bob.
I'm about to say, if they say, "Hey, we want to sponsor you," we're taking it.
It was like, we're sponsored by GameStop. This is a Bobless stream right now until that drops, but we need
But
money.
also, if Coke or Taco Bell.
Oh, yes.
Heck, I would even go with Pepsi, and I'd only like one of their products, and I'd still be, it's like, okay, you want to throw a Mountain Dew one on here? Cool.
But
Where
in
were we?
other
Oh yeah, in
big
other
stories.
news. In other news, yes. Google. When don't we talk about Google? Hey, if Google wants to sponsor Minus the Rumors too, you hook us up with, some support. Maybe get us some ads out there.
Or just a butt ton of money.
And that would work too. Google has patented something pretty different for their self-driving cars. Along the lines of, well, there's no really better way to put it than human flypaper or like a mouse glue trap for their self-driving cars. And yes, it's not they applied for a patent. They have received their patent for this. They know that their self-driving cars are going to get in an accident. They know it's going to happen eventually. You cannot predict with 100% rate that something will not happen. 99.9 is the closest you'll ever get.
There was even an incident years ago in Atlanta to where a woman with some sort of dementia just walked out in the road and got turned into a street pizza in less than 3 minutes.
That happens.
It was found to be not the fault of the driver. It's very unfortunate, but
It happens
can't
more
account
often than
for
you might
people
think.
with severe mental disabilities or decide to commit suicide via passenger truck.
Right. But this product is going to go on the front of the Google self-driving vehicles that, to quote, to quote their patent, bonds the pedestrian to the vehicle so that the pedestrian remains with the vehicle until it stops and is not thrown from the vehicle. They also say that many crash injuries are not usually caused by the car hitting the pedestrian, but by the pedestrian being thrown after the collision. You know, they get thrown from the accident, roll, whack their head on a curb, something like that. And yes, I know what you're thinking too. If you've got something sticky all over the front of your car that will literally glue a human to it, it's going to pick up every bug, every piece of dirt, every leaf.
How do you wash your car?
Yeah. Google is also going to patent some sort of covering that goes on top of the adhesive that will break away in a collision, and leave the sticky layer below it.
Oh, God.
I know, it all sounds too weird.
It's not even a weird. It's just like I have so many questions, and like I'm running through scenarios in my head so quickly. It was like, okay, let's say my brakes go out, and I've had this situation happen. Mm-hmm. My master cylinder, my brakes went out. Mm-hmm. So, and I didn't have enough time to grab the emergency brake, which would override it, and blah blah blah. Right. Mm-hmm. So instead of a situation where I was smart enough to drive not slowly, but get it to where my car basically just ran into a ditch, hurting no one else other than me. Mm-hmm. And because I was wearing a seatbelt, I didn't get hurt that bad. Just a little seatbelt burn. Imagine if that happens, a passenger or a pedestrian walks out in front of me. I don't have time to stop. And there's also a truck in front of me. It's at the stoplight.
Right.
Because the pedestrian assumed that I was going to not hit that vehicle. Because they because they don't think of, well, you can't trust people, blah, blah, blah. So now this person's stuck, doesn't get bumped out of the way. Now they lose a leg. Hopefully that's all they lose.
That is actually something that Brian Smith of Stanford's School of Law, who just also happens to be a self-driving car expert, brought up on this particular patent. He says there's some incidents where people should not be glued to the front end of the car.
Yeah, and who's liable at that point? Am I liable because of the upkeep of my car is on me? Am I not liable because it's a mechanical failure? Is Google liable because they are the ones that, designed this safety feature, and you can't see the quotations I'm using, but hopefully you can hear it, the safety feature that caused an incident? Or is the passenger liable because they were jaywalking?
Right.
Right. I'm interested to hear what Hippie has to think about this. We haven't heard her voice in almost 15 minutes.
Yeah, Hippie.
I said something earlier.
Mm-hmm.
We'll say something now.
Yeah.
I honestly, I don't like this idea. I mean, we talked about this a little bit before about how, if somebody gets stuck to the car and the car is like veered off the road into like a wall or into a ditch or whatever, then the person is now trapped in between the car and whatever it ran into. And instead of them being hit out of the way, they're in a worse situation. But yeah,
you're driving along and you hit Bambi. Now Bambi, and usually oh, I hit it and there's a little dent. Oh well, just go on your merry way, fix it later. Nope, now Bambi's stuck to your hood of your car. It's like, well, I guess I got dinner for babe tonight, so it's whatever. But actually, I think it's silly. I don't think it'll work for cars. However, I think it's an interesting concept, interesting technology that can be used somewhere, somehow.
Now, mind you, this isn't the only crash feature technology that's kind of off the wall regarding pedestrian hits that has been designed and is in place. Jaguar has hoods on their cars that will open in a front-end collision. Apparently, it can tell the difference or I don't know if the airbags have to go off in the car or what, but it knows it's been in an impact, will open the hood to allow an easier crumple zone to slow somebody down before they hit the windshield of the car. Volvo has airbags that open up from underneath the hood, up in the cowl area by the wiper blades, for pedestrians.
And my immediate thought goes to Team Rocket blasting off again. Ding.
But yeah, Google has come back and said, hey, neither of these address the potential injuries with pedestrians being thrown from the car after a collision.
It's like, all right, we fixed the problem with the injuries being thrown, but now we've just added a whole
Yeah, we've
list
got stuck dead people to the front of cars.
Right, we have a whole list of worse things that could happen.
Here's a question that I don't think any of us asked of this yet.
What?
Okay, say if this does what it's supposed to, and it works. How do you unstick yourself? Like if you're the person that got hit, how do you get off?
I guess it would
Are you
depend
cut
gonna
the
be
leg off.
skinned?
Maybe acetone?
It would depend on like how like adhesive this stuff is. Is it like honey? Is it like you're like duct tape and you ain't coming off that? And then there's also adhesive. There's stuff like liquid you can put on adhesive that will just.
The patent specifically states just like human fly paper or double-sided duct tape.
I'm a hairy guy. That's gonna hurt.
Mm-hmm.
What happens if like a woman falls into it and all her hair is just like?
Oh.
Looks like she's going
anybody
bald.
with long hair.
No.
Just no. Or if like or a guy with a really huge beard hits it face first.
What happens if you run through a cornfield?
Guess you have a
Backwards.
car that's stuck with you for
You're
life.
screwed.
All right, well.
Yeah, this car really sticks on me, guys.
Not
Really
just
stuck
you,
on you.
but I think it's time for the head break.
All right, guys. So as always, at MinusTheRumors, we always try to make the best content for you, kind of. And so if you want to check out, the podcasts and some other stuff we do, you can check out our YouTube. Go check it out. Go give it a subscribe and whatnot. And then we have Twitter. Check that out and all that fun stuff. And there's stuff in the description below. But let's go on to entertainment. So first things first, we have Warner Bros. Has put Jeff Johns in charge of the DCEU. So after the Batman Superman movie, which most people disliked, I personally loved it. They're very, very serious about their DCEU. They want it to be very, very competitive with Marvel, so they've completely shaken up things and put this guy in charge of everything. And this guy's already started really getting things in line. He's been doing a lot of work already.
Yeah, he was the guy who wrote Smallville, or most recently, the guy who helped write Arrow and The Flash, which I both find amazing.
All right. I'm excited to see like what changes this guy will bring, like in the long term. Not like just changes, but like what their outcomes are. So excited to see what happens. And in other news, we have more Nintendo news.
Of course.
Nintendo has going to start making movies. What are you talking about? What am I smoking? I don't know. So Nintendo is they want to start making their own movies themselves, not licensing stuff out like they've done in the past. They're going to do it. And at first I thought, what in the world? The Nintendo, no, please don't. And then I looked at, and everything has to be translated, so it takes a few days to figure out exact word for word what they mean. And it looks like that they may do live action at some point, but they're going to focus on animated movies. And seeing how Pokemon has 19 animated movies, and they're fantastic. And Pokemon, Nintendo, not the same thing. One owns the other, but it's the same talent pool. So I'm excited. I think it's fantastic. I'd love to see animated Mario movies. I'd love to see Legend of Zelda Mario movies. That would be fantastic. Kirby and Star Fox, those are your big four that would translate fantastically well.
I
And
could see Samus in a movie in a alien type of way.
maybe. But what's really cool, and I doubt Nintendo will do this, but if they did a connected universe with this, I mean, you already have a very loose Super Smash Brothers kind of line, so you can just kind of, do a huge connected universe. And what's curious to me is, why is Nintendo doing this? I know video game movies are the next phase we're going into. But I know Nintendo needs to do something to compete with Microsoft and Sony. Is this like their big way to get sales? Because obviously, if you make video game movies, you're going to get sales on your video games. As I don't know. Plus, they have a new president, so there's so much going into this. When we find out more, we'll let you know. But what are your guys' thoughts? I'm excited. If you couldn't tell,
Just a little.
Nintendo making movies. Animated movies, yeah, that's fine, but like I want a Contra movie, and Bob just pointed it out that Contra is Konami, but I don't think that Konami would have a problem letting Nintendo make a movie about it. So if you're watching this, Nintendo, make a Contra movie.
I'm going to stave off my utter hatred for Konami and their disrespect towards the legacy that they built or have built.
Hey, it might be the only thing that brings them back after the whole
Pachinko machine incidences. Yeah.
Metal Gear.
Kojima. Yeah. But Hippie, what do you think?
I mean, I guess it's gonna be all right.
And again, they could make a Punch-Out live-action movie.
Eh,
Oh, that'd be great.
That would
Like
be.
all Rocky style.
It would be basically Rocky. They could even, yeah.
I'm
even
honestly
have-
not expecting much from this.
They could
Star
even have a
Fox?
sequel to where they go in, to where Little Mac goes into space and boxes space aliens,
Yes.
like in the video games.
Star Fox? Live action? Or even CGI? That would be pretty
Muppet
cool.
style.
That would be pretty cool.
I again, like my iteration on it is, I think if they stick to animated movies like DC does, kind of that style of animated movies, I think it'll be fantastic. Especially if they start out with your big titles, because they would work well.
Yeah.
So this also does tie in very quickly to the there was a giant we covered this a few weeks ago. There was a giant bidding war for a live action Pokemon movie. Don't exactly know what came of that, but the three biggest movie companies in the world were bidding over it. And apparently it was enough to buy out one of the companies. But it's something that was in secret, backdoor kind of stuff that the public knew it was happening. It was public that was happening, but it wasn't. The numbers weren't allowed to be published. So obviously, Nintendo actually has had this on their mind for a while, which is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But in other news, we have Marvel stuff.
Marvel.
Lots of Marvel stuff.
Marvel.
Lots of Marvel stuff.
Marvel. It's marvelous.
Marvel. So, my favorite character probably from the Civil War movie was Black Panther. Just on pure acting, absolutely fantastic. So his next solo movie, which he is getting one, will have 90 to 95% either Africans or African Americans playing in the roles, which is absolutely fantastic. That they're committed to making the movie how it should be. I mean, it should be obvious, but I'm excited about it. I think it'll be nice and a bit different flavor for the previous Marvel movies. I think it's gonna mesh well as well. So I'm excited. But kind of tied into that, we have the Michael B. Jordan, who is an actor. He's absolutely fantastic. He played in Creed, and he also played Human Torch in the Fox movie. And he's jumped ship from Fox to Marvel. This is actually the second time the Human Torch has switched ships to Marvel. And he's an absolute amazing actor. And he's going to be in the Black Panther movie. We don't know yet what he will be doing, but he's a great, great actor. And we're excited to see him make the switch, which, tied into that. They're also, Sony Fox. Fox is trying to make a Fantastic Four 2. Just throw it out there.
Oh God,
Yep.
I found poor stick too.
Yep,
You know who would have made an awesome Black Panther? Even though he's 50-something years old now? Jaimin Hounsou.
Good point. Well, they could do a thing to where they would flashback. To...
Then again, he was in Guardians of the Galaxy.
right.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently, the guy that plays Black Panther, he's apparently a method actor, at least in this one, and he very much never broke character on the set ever. And the accent he speaks in, there's no accent for that, and he decided himself to basically research all the dialects that are in that area of Africa that Wakanda might be in, and he basically made up a dialect. Now that he has done that, now all the actors are going to have to learn his made up
His methodology.
dialect. Yeah, his dialect and everything. Like, he made up the voice for it. And it's amazing.
That's
He's
amazing.
such a talented actor.
That's pretty cool.
I'll just make a language for this movie real quick, guys. BRB. Okay, I'm back.
All right.
That's so impressive. But my takeaway on this is, just in general, is that I cannot wait to see what comes of this in the most positive ways, because I don't know about you, but I watched a lot of 70s movies when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a type of film that has a negative slant to it for a reason, called the black exploitation film, to where you'd have Shaft was one of the more popular ones and kind of got away from that negative outlet, to where I can't wait to see what happens here when it's a bunch of wonderfully talented African American actors and actresses, and it's not made with that type of goal in mind. And I also can't wait to see what Stan Lee thinks.
Yes, Sierra, tell us.
What Stan Lee thinks? Well,
yeah.
Unless you ask him in California, you're probably not going to... You're not going to ask him. Unless you ask him in New York later this year, September, because, well, we already know that Stan Lee said in 2014 he is not doing the convention circuit tour in Europe. Last year he said, I'm no longer doing cons in Canada. Earlier this week, Stan Lee said, look, guys, I'm 93 years old. My vision is failing. My hearing is failing. And I just don't like the cold anymore. And has decided that after this year's New York Comic-Con, he will no longer leave California for cons. So he'll still do Comic-Con. He'll do Comic-Con in LA.
The San Diego Comic-Con.
Or San Diego Comic-Con. Yeah, not LA. San Diego, California. And that's probably because he lives in California. But he's getting on up there in his years, and he's just decided enough's enough. But he will be at New York Comic Con from October 6th to 9th. Then again, he's 93 years old, so I can't even guarantee that he will be at New York Comic Con. Let me knock on some wood real quick.
Oh God.
Like,
I mean, it's amazing that he's made it this long doing all that he does.
yes.
And the thing is when it comes to old creators, and I pointed this out when we were talking beforehand, the guy who made Batman, God, I cannot think of his name right now for some reason. Give me a half a second. Bob Kane. He passed away sometime in the 90s. And the last movie that was released while he was still alive was Batman Forever. So, you know, and Batman was made, I think, in the late 30s, or not in the late 30s, but in the 30s, maybe late 20s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 1939. So, considering he was a college student when he came up with the idea of Batman, that's a long time to live. You know, he was born in 1915 and lived in 1988.
Right.
These guys have... We kind of forget that they are not going to live forever. They're flesh and blood like everybody else. And, you know, he's made so much for us. He deserves to have some time to himself and to relax and see out the rest of his life however he chooses.
Right.
Yeah.
He does. Yes. He does.
Insidious.
Yeah. So
Sorry, I was a Debbie Downer there for a second, got unemotional. it threw
we were
everybody.
all sad for a second. Just give us
He
a
was
moment,
just like,
guys.
we all gave him like a preemptive moment of silence.
yeah, he's like, we're just gonna go ahead and give him a moment of silence now. I mean, he's already on death's door.
Oh God.
Anywho,
I just wish that he actually was able to play JJ at one time. That's one thing I always wanted.
but in other non-comic book news, which you're probably pretty excited about, Insidious 4 is going to be a thing. So Insidious 4 has officially gotten its date. It's going to be releasing October 20th, 2017. So next Halloween, not this Halloween, but the next year's Halloween. So that's super cool. I'm actually a fan of the Insidious. They're pretty good. The first one's really good. The second one's meh. Third one I haven't seen, but I heard is really good. So I'm excited about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Insidious 4 comes out, what,
October 20th, 2017. We're actually, to add a little extra to this, we're actually getting a ton of horror sequel and horror movies in 2016 and 2017. It's like they're all hitting at once. So
Yeah, there's one that's coming sooner than that if you want to still consider it horror. Purge 3 is supposed to be coming out July 1st, 2016. The election year. Purge the election year. And the trailer is interesting. I don't know. I haven't watched any of the Purge movies. I've always wanted to watch the first one because it looks interesting. And then I saw the trailer for the second one and it did not catch my eye at all. It kind of reminds me of Saw series where the first one was good and then it slowly declined over time, and that's what I'm seeing here in these trailers without even watching the movies. And I don't know how you guys feel about it, but that's how I feel. And
Yeah.
apparently it's affected by current events, but I'm not gonna go into that. So how do you guys feel about the Purge series? Because I know some of you have watched them.
Well, I finally figured out the answer to the Purge series. Everybody has been wanting to like the big question with the Purge series is like, who on earth would like vote this in? Look at our candidates, folks. There you go. But all political satire aside, that first one was an interesting concept, and it was an interesting movie. The second one was an interesting concept of, what happens to like the politicians that would like fight against that, because you have to have some sort of resistance on a political scale. And it answered that question. What questions could this one possibly be answering at this point? Like, I don't see where it's going.
Well,
and could it still be an enjoyable movie? Oh yeah. I mean, I have my share of guilty pleasures, so it's whatever.
My thoughts on it is that it reminds me of the Taken movies. Taken 1, fantastic movie, absolutely amazing, loved it. Taken 2, I was like, what? It's okay, I guess. It's okay. And then Taken 3 was, what is this trash that I paid money to go see? This is garbage.
Taken 3 was a garbage fire.
So that's how I feel about Purge. Purge 1, I enjoyed. It was pretty good. It's like, this is something a little different. I like it. It's gory. Taken 2, I'm like, the acting's not fantastic, but it's okay. It's okay. And I'm expecting Purge 3 to be just garbage truck on fire.
Yeah. That's what I'm expecting too. Kind of like how the Saw films went downhill.
There are a lot of horror movies coming out though this year. Not trying to derail us or extend us in any way, shape, or form, but I'm looking forward to Cell, which comes out in July. Cell, a Stephen King book.
That's a Stephen King book.
Starring John Cusack and Samuel L. Jackson.
But there's never been a good Stephen King movie.
Oh, girl,
Okay,
you're lucky I can't reach you right now.
Pet Cemetery was pretty good.
Desperation was pretty good.
Okay.
Desperation was really good.
I haven't seen that one.
Oh, you got to see Desperation. But yes, for those of you that don't know, Cell is about evil cell phones that turn a whole bunch of cell phone users into zombies.
Didn't he write that after he got hit by a bus?
Yes, after he got hit by a bus in New York City and broke his femur. He almost died from that.
Yes. Mm-hmm. He's gotten hit by a bus a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he needs to avoid Greyhound.
Probably. The other one I'm looking forward to, because we're still into zombies, is called Range 15, which is very, 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 very adult themed. A group of veterans wake up after a night of partying and find out that the zombie apocalypse has just happened, and they fight their way across the country to cure the outbreak. And you can look up that trailer on YouTube. It's absolutely hilarious.
Is this based off of a book? Because it sounds very similar to something my girlfriend's reading right now.
No, it is not.
Wow.
It's you need to watch the trailer after the podcast. You'll love it.
Yeah.
Which
Just
movie
PM me the movie name again, because I'll forget.
It's called Range 15.
I have the memory of a goldfish, dude.
The Stephen King movie.
Oh, the Stephen King movie is called Cell, not The Cell, but Cell,
Just
as in
Cell.
cellular cell.
But
Apparently, he's going to have another movie come out next year called The Dark Tower.
God,
Yes,
No
he is
way.
finally making The
That
Dark
was my
Tower.
favorite comic book
He is making
series ever.
it will be all 7 movies. The
No.
entire series. The entire Dark Tower series. Yeah, I know. I cried when I heard that. Yeah, the first one will be The Gunslinger.
Oh God, yes.
Oh my god.
Okay, before I panic out and have a nerd fit here, I'm gonna go ahead and just hit the releases real quick.
Okay.
So Angry Birds, the
Hang on.
movie
Bob,
is.
Bob.
Say again?
Bob, can I freak you out?
What?
You want to know who plays Roland?
Who?
Idris Elba.
Who?
Idris Elba?
Give me something to work with here, buddy.
Idris Elba was in Pacific Rim. He was in Thor: Dark World. He was the gate.
okay.
Yeah. You want to
When
know
she
who
said
plays?
that and Thor? I'm like, bam, got
You
it.
want to know who? You want to know who the evil sorcerer is?
Who?
Walter Paddock is Matthew McConaughey
This is gonna be awesome.
in the Dark Tower. The Dark Tower comes out February 23rd, by the way, of next year.
It could suck and it'd still be amazing. But speaking of things coming out this month, because we're already past halfway to the month, guys. This year's been flying for me. I don't know about you. Angry Birds, the movie, which is produced by Sony, is coming out tomorrow. Overwatch, which is made by Blizzard, is finally coming out this coming Tuesday on May 24th. And that's basically it. It's that point where it's kind of a dry season. A lot of movies ain't going to come out for another month or so, and a lot of games aren't going to come out until like post summer, like the big ones. But this is Ziploc Bob reminding you to check back with us at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for next week's podcast. Make sure to catch it on YouTube in a few hours in case you came in here late. That's perfectly fine. And with the stuff and things that we're doing, Crimson's been killing it on Diablo 3, haven't you?
Hippie too.
Yeah,
What
somewhat.
about that Zero guy? He's not a terrible
that
one.
Zero guy has been playing some Diablo too.
Yeah,
No,
I
I
finally
ain't.
just caught up.
Don't
y'all,
lie for me.
Oh my god.
Leveled up my character to 60 real quick. But as far as what I've been doing on my channel, it's been close to nothing because it's that last week, this past week has been the last week with my daughter and stuff to where I'm like, you know what, I'm going to stop, take some time with my family because now we're going to like that 1 week on, 1 week off having her daughter over here sort of thing because her biological father does deserve time with her too. And vice versa. And they both, gotta have a balanced family. But I do plan on, if I can get my live streaming set up working correctly, I'm probably going to have to look into OBS a little bit more because XSplit's just killing me, on having my editor up soon as we get a few details worked out. So what have you been up to, Zero?
What have I been up to? Oh, I'm trying. I have some more Saints Row recorded. Got to get it edited and uploaded. I have been streaming on Twitch. I'm taking like a week off to rework things as well as do tests at school. And tomorrow I have a road test for my CDL. Things should be back to normal after that. They should be back to normal tomorrow evening, actually.
Yeah. And for a while there, Hippie, weren't you streaming almost every day on Half-Hearted Gaming on YouTube?
Yeah, I'm still streaming every day. I'm on day, I don't know what anymore.
Yeah, right.
Day 21.
Yeah, so I enjoy hanging out with her, and it's a fun chat. We got enough mods to where we can kick out anybody that wants to troll very quickly. But yeah, the only other thing I've been doing is like I updated some of my artwork, and that's it. Like I've been really lazy here lately because I've been wanting to spend time with my family. But that's it for us, guys. Make sure to hit us up on Twitter at MinusTheRumors or on our YouTube, which is also MinusTheRumors, and we also have a votable. So we'll see you guys next week. This is Ziploc Bob, Angry Hippie Lady, Ed from Zero Plays Games, and Crimson from Crimson Rose 77. Saying goodbye.
Bye.